Hey everybody, it is Deanna and I am here for my oil a day, and I know that I missed 2 days and I am so sorry. I've been in California enjoying not only the beautiful California weather but also just learning a lot, and I feel like just being able to come back now with all this information to just help all of you learn more about wellness prosperity. And that's really what we do at doTERRA. And so I promise to be more faithful to these daily videos. The last couple days it was really tough with the meetings I was in to get out, and because of the time difference on the East Coast to the West. But we are back in business. I'm here at the airport in California, getting ready to fly home today. Hey Aviance, hey Marcia. So we're going to talk about one of my favorite oils, Arborvitae. And you may notice that we're sort of going through the alphabet, which is cool because that helps me to remember which ones we've talked about. Arborvitae is a tree oil. It's a very unique oil, and it is very unique to doTERRA because we are the only ones in the world who are getting essential oil from this tree, from the wood of the tree. If you research anything about Arborvitae online or in books, you're going to find a lot of information that does not pertain to doTERRA's Arborvitae because, like I said, we have a very unique way of getting and obtaining this oil, and we're the only ones in the world who do it. And so a lot of the information you find will tell you that there are some neurotoxins and that it could be an unsafe oil, but that is simply not true. This particular method of obtaining the oil and this part of the plant we get it from allows there to be none of that component in this oil. Instead, what is in here is amazing stuff. I love this oil. This is an oil that we use a lot in our home when people are not feeling well. It's literally the first one we grab, and the reason why is because if you think about how these trees act, what happens is these trees in the Pacific Northwest, they fall to the ground and they lie there for hundreds of years, and they don't decay, they don't get attacked by insects, they don't get affected by different viruses and bacteria that happen out in the forest to fallen trees. And so we wanted to harness the power of that and use it in our bodies. And so if you can imagine all the things that can happen, one of the things that a lot of people that I work with like to use it for is when there are cooties going around with their kids, especially they can have sore spots on their hands, their feet, their mouth area, and it can be really uncomfortable. This is a really good oil to help that. You use this one aromatically and topically, but it's not recommended for internal use. So what you could do is you could put one drop on the bottom of each foot and maybe do that every 3 or 4 hours when you're fighting something. When we're fighting anything respiratory, we like to just kind of tilt the bottle onto our finger and then go behind the ear and along the jawline. And I'm telling you, when you do this, you will see such quick results. It will absolutely blow your mind. Another thing I've used it for is like female itching. I've mixed it with some coconut oil and applied it topically to the area. I like to diffuse this when I'm not too sure about the toxins that could be in the air, especially if I think there's been some moisture in the building or something. And so I moved into a new home a couple years ago, and I knew that it had kind of a really interesting past and that there were some really bad, gross things that had been in that house before, and I know that they tried to clean it up, but I wanted to make sure that it was safe air to breathe for my family. So what I did was I used the doTERRA's Aroma Ace diffuser, and I plugged this directly into it, and then I set that on high and I put it right in front of my air conditioning return and just like ran through all of the vents through the whole house. And I saw some really weird stuff happen when I did that. Like within the next probably 48 hours, I started to see just some dead insects lying around. So it was almost like I had just like had the house sprayed or something, but it was natural and there wasn't any pesticide in my home damaging our health or our pets, my little child. And so I think I accidentally found another use for it that I wasn't thinking about. But really, if you think about how the trees don't get affected by insects and stuff, it makes perfect sense. The other thing I really like about this oil is that doTERRA is really responsible. Hopefully you can hear over these announcements. But it is what it is, guys. doTERRA is really responsible in how they actually have the distilling process, and so we use every single part of the tree. We don't just take what we want and then just leave it. We actually send the remainder of the wood to a paper factory, and they even recycle the water that is used in the distillation process. So I'm really proud of how doTERRA is caring about us by bringing us the highest quality essential oils that they can possibly find, that they're making sure that we're doing all this testing that no one else is doing. And if you haven't checked this out, you need to go to sourcetoyou.com. There's a number on the bottom of this bottle, and you can type that in there and it will tell you all about the testing on this bottle of oil. So we're not just labeling something and telling you it's pure and just saying, oh, just trust us, it's pure. We're actually, putting our money where our mouth is, and we're being very, very open and transparent about that, so you can trust what you're putting on your children and on yourself and in the air that you breathe. So that's really good. Now, I learned this really cool tip that I didn't know before this past couple days. I had this really awesome roommate that is a rock star doTERRA leader, and she was my hotel roommate, and so we talked a lot, and she told me that a really cool way to use Arborvitae is to take a little bit and rub it in your navel, and what that does is that really helps to connect you to God. And I don't know about you, but I really want to be connected to God. Like, I feel like all good things come from Him. Wisdom, knowledge, just all the gifts. And I want to be in tune with Him so that I can bless people every day of my life. And so I've been doing that. And one of the things I've noticed since I started doing that is that I am more likely to connect with people personally. I'm an introvert, okay? And so I'm one of those people that when I go in a public place like an airport, I'll sit in my little corner and just read, watch a movie, listen to a book, something like that. And since I've been doing this kind of thing, I've been paying more attention to people around me and wondering how I can bless them just by saying good morning and smiling or something like that. And the other thing is I feel like things are sharper. Like, I just feel like the world is not as fuzzy, if that makes any sense. I feel like I have a real clarity and focus. And so just try it. You may like it. I also diffused this last night while I slept in my room, so I wanted to make sure there was no hotel cooties. And so I've really just been loving this oil the last couple days, so it's really cool that I get to talk to you about it today. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. And if you're watching the replay, you can still comment, and I will come back and I will try to answer those as I can. And please share the video because this may help somebody. And one more thing I want to say about this is if you're a mom and you're breastfeeding and you're dealing with that issue that happens where you kind of pass yeast or whatever back through the mouth, back and forth between the baby and the breast, this can be really good for that too. Applying it topically with a little bit of coconut oil. It's pretty strong, so you just maybe want to do it like right after a feeding. You can apply it to yourself and then give it a chance to kind of flash off the smell of it. But it's good to get a little bit of it in the baby's mouth though, so that you can help them as well. So I wanted to throw that out there. Okay, so hopefully that's been helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, so I'll see you Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern time right here. Love you.